Hello, I'm Scotty, the rocker engineer. The EV versus diesel economical race is running flat out, and as the colder weather has arrived, to help out the diesel, we'll see what's gonna happen. The scoreboard at the end of the last week looked like this.
Remember, this chart includes only those trips when public charging was necessary. After 4332 miles, the EV saved me 233 pounds compared to the diesel cost based on HMRC's very optimistic fuel mileage rate. Today I will go to Coventry for a conference. I did school run in the morning and charged my car back up to 100% again. So, to Coventry and back is about 274 miles, and I completed this trip during the summer without any public charging. But it is much colder, and based on my last week average miles per kilowatt hour, I'm pretty sure this time I will need top up on the road. It is true, however, the temperature is much milder, around 17 degrees C today, compared to what we had during our family trips, somewhere below 5 at certain points, if I remember correctly. Now, I missed the 75% mark. I was busy driving, but now I'm getting to 70%, which will be okay to check. I hope this mess in front of me will be cleared soon. Now, as you can see from my speed, the traffic is back to kinda normal. So let's see the reading at 70% state of charge. It says I did 102.7 miles. However, you might notice my trip auto computer started from 14.7 after the school run, and I forgot to reset my manual trip computer. So what it means, I did 88 miles with 30% battery consumption. It means that with such average, my full battery would give me 293 miles of a range. I arrived to the hotel safe and sound. Let's see my total average for today. 54% left, so maybe I can make it home without top up on the road. But what are the numbers actually? Total mileage 150.7, take away the 14.7 which was on the clock when I left. That is 136 miles since I left home. So that would be 295.6 miles full battery range. Wow! I didn't see this coming. The part of the story actually that I topped up my tire pressures this morning. It was below the manufacturer level with 5 to 7 psi, which is considerable amount, even if the ride pressure is 41 psig, much higher than a typical ICE car. The conference is over, I'm heading home, just let's have a quick look at the dashboard. 55%. It was 54 last time I checked. Anyhow, let's hit the road. I didn't do 50% check, obviously. The rounding mistake between 54 and 55% would have too much impact on my calculation. Now I'm getting closer to 40% state of charge, so let's see how many miles I did with 14 to 15% battery capacity. So it is 35.7 divided by 1.5, that is just below 240 miles total range, divided by 1.4, that is above 250, but none of them is enough to make it home. I'm on the M25, nearing to 25% state of charge. I think I could arrive home maybe around 3 to 5% capacity left, but I will need the car before I plug in for overnight charge. I'm not quite sure if I will have sufficient time to charge up between my arrival and when I need it to use again. I will stop to it anyway, so I think I will splash a few electrons in it as well. It is 25% now, and the reading is 76.1 miles for around 30% consumption, which is around 254 miles full range. So 25% in my battery would give me 63.5 miles. I've got another 60 miles to go, so the margin would be even tighter than I thought. Here I am again at the service station just before Dartford crossing. As I said, I will have a lunch and top up my battery. Last week, here, with some of the charging column I had issues. I wish I could remember which one was that. Anyway, there are plenty to pick from. I think I will top up to 20%-ish. I arrived here with 13% battery after 114.1 miles driven today. Bang! 21%. It was quick. It was so quick actually, I couldn't stop the charging at 20%. Now I move the car and have some food. As I said, I needed a car since I've arrived home, and this is the last run before I plug it in today. Now I'm finished for today with 8% battery and 152.9 miles driven. That brings the total journey to 289 miles with 101% battery capacity consumed. That is actually very good. Let's see the Excel records. I left home with 45,415 on the clock, fully charged. After 250 miles I arrived to the charger with 13%, added 6.1 kWh for 5.31 pounds. I arrived home with 8% state of charge, and for 5 pounds I charged up my car overnight. My total EV charging cost was 10.36 and saved more than 27 pounds compared to the diesel. The scoreboard of the EV versus diesel economy race shows that after more than 4,600 miles long journeys, I saved more than 260 pounds with driving an EV as opposed to a diesel.
To be fair, this was a pretty short trip, so the expensive public charging couldn't increase the average kilowatt-hour price to high enough to get even close to the diesel cost. Next week, however, I will be on a much longer 500 plus miles trip. I hope you will join me then as well to see if the diesel will be able to hit back. Until then, have a great time!